Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why the demon Emperor Jaldabaoth did not manage to conquer the Southern Holy Kingdom as well, in spite of his seemingly overwhelming victory and military superiority. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my patrons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. The Great Tomb of Nazarick possesses an incredible military force, but it has only mobilized this power a very limited amount of times. For example, during the display of power against the Lizardmen, all of the Floor Guardians, including Victim and Gargantua, were present, along with the Old Guardians of Nazarick, the Old Gardas, a skeletal army with magical weapons, which were then repurposed into a staircase. And this display wasn't merely meant to demonstrate Nazarick's strength to the Lizardmen, but also to provoke an attack from the suspected players who, as Nazarick and Ainz believed, might have been responsible for mind-controlling Sheltier Bloodfallen. However, even then, the forces shown, comprising the Floor Guardians, Ainz, and the Old Gardas of Nazarick, were only a fraction of the Great Tomb's full strength. The main military force remained stationed on the 8th floor of Nazarick, a place so dangerous that Albedo, on Ainz's order, has isolated it from the rest of the guild. And even Rubedo, the strongest entity in the Great Tomb, who also resides on the 8th floor, was also not deployed, and other high-level units, such as the Overlords of Wrath and of Greed and so on and so forth, the Overlords guarding Nazarick's library, Ashurbanipal, numerous summons, and countless other powerful beings like the Magma Slime Gurren also remained untouched and undeployed. In other words, even this massive display of strength was just a fraction of Nazarick's true total military power. So Ainz could have mustered far more forces to impress the Lizardmen or to intimidate and potentially attack other players, after they tried something funny again with their Floor Guardians. And lastly, Ainz can also summon an enormous number of skeletons and undead, and these alone would have been sufficient to deal with the Lizardmen. A few Death Knights, a Death Warrior here and there, or Elder Liches would have been enough to annihilate the Lizardmen if they all attacked combinedly. And legendary mages like Fluda Paradane and his numerous apprentices were only able to defeat a single Death Knight through a relentless aerial bombardment of fireball spells from hundreds of meters away. In other words, even Nazarick's very disposable units would pose a problem for any nation. Additionally, the 3 Soul Eaters, which once annihilated a Beastman city and claimed the lives of over 100,000 men, are also at Nazarick's disposal, as illustrated on the cover of the 9th volume, and in greater numbers at that. So in summary, Nazarick is currently, unless other elite guilds have also made it to the New World, the dominant military power in this very dimension. And even though Demiurge's, or rather Jaldabaoth's army, is significantly weaker than Nazarick's full military power, it is still incredibly formidable. Jaldabaoth not only commanded the demi-humans and heteromorphic warriors from the Abelian Hills, but also had his own troops, consisting of demons and other beings he could summon, in addition to his personal combat prowess and strength, on his disposal, which he could rely on to ensure victory in many critical battles. And at the beginning of this event, depicted in the movies, or the corresponding books, Volume 12 and Volume 13, Demiurge's army also included powerful leaders, such as Buzer and the 3 other tribal chiefs whom you see here, preparing for battle against Remedios Custodio. And beyond these, there were countless other strong enemies, such as those who guarded the hostages from the individual tribes or were tasked with critical management functions. For instance, the demon fought by Shizu and Neabaraya was an exceptionally strong entity, but limited itself to a mere demonstration fight, a mock battle if you will, against Shizu and Nea, and Shizu is a level 46 Pleiades battlemate. with backup. Furthermore, it is also essentially to consider the broader context of the situation. The forces of the Demon Emperor had completely overtaken the northern region of the Holy Kingdom. They had destroyed the kingdom's primary military strength in the Battle of the Capital, Hobruns, including the Holy Queen Calca Besaris and Kilat Custodio, Remedios' magically gifted sister, who served as the queen's advisor and strategist. Eliminating these two formidable casters and leaders alone was a massive blow to the entire nation. In addition to this, the paladins were significantly diminished and decimated, and the forces at the wall were also overwhelmed during Demiurge's initial strike. And the civilian population, which again was usually subject to conscription and had received some military training and therefore could potentially resist, was interned in camps. And their labor, and not only their labor, in fact their entire body, was also ruthlessly exploited, thus leaving the populace under complete control and only capable of very sporadic and uncoordinated resistance at the very best. And to make matters even worse, the surviving paladins fled the Holy Kingdom, temporarily depriving the northern resistance of its remaining powerful military resources, because even though Remedios Custodio is as intelligent as half a brick and has the same foresight as a blind mole in dense fog, was extraordinarily strong by the standards of the New World, and her temporary loss at that, was significant, because the paladins themselves were a formidable force, capable of summoning angels to decisively eliminate smaller enemy groups without risking their own casualties. And therefore a temporary absence was very keenly felt, because the paladins themselves were also a formidable force, capable of summoning angels to decisively eliminate smaller enemy groups without risking their own. In other words, while Remedios and Nea with the other paladins traveled from nation to nation to seek an army for reinforcement, the northern region of the kingdom was utterly devastated and defenseless. It was only through Nea's effort, alongside Shizo, that parts of Jaldabaoth's forces began to defect later, driven by the rescued hostages. So at this point in the timeline, the discipline held up, although some leaders occasionally pursued their own objectives, but ultimately the victory over the northern region of the kingdom was near total. But despite these later and from outside induced fractures, at the time where the Paladin Order was away to gather support and reinforcement, the kingdom, at least its northern part, was completely occupied and unable to resist, and the victory was nearly complete and total. And with all of that said, there were in fact two main reasons why Demiurge decided not to occupy the southern part of the Holy Kingdom as well, and the first reason is a complete pretext. Allegedly, the kingdom's fleet was still able to keep Jaldabaoth's forces at bay, something Jaldabaoth himself could have changed at any time if he truly wanted to, because he clearly is stronger than a few ships. But instead, this served as an excuse to create the illusion that Jaldabaoth was not that invincible and had limits to his power. It was meant to convince the world, and particularly the southern region, that the Demon Emperor's strength had its boundaries. At least for now, until Jaldabaoth's true strength was revealed in the final battle, to increase the shock and awe value. In reality, the entire operation, including the occupation of the north and the perceived invulnerability of the south, was a ploy to deepen the already significant divide between the northern and southern region of the kingdom, and this would further exacerbate tensions and unrest after Jaldabaoth was ultimately defeated by Ain Sol Gorn. The south of the kingdom had never been happy with the rule of Queen Calca Besaris, and they were displeased that Caspon Besaris, Calca's elder brother, renounced his claim to the throne, which allowed Calca to take power. So the southern nobles resisted her rule at every single turn and opportunity. And economically, the southern region remained intact, while the north suffered greatly under Jaldabaoth's occupation, creating a stark economic disparity. And life under Jaldabaoth's rule in the north was an entirely different experience from the normal existence under the southern aristocracy, and this stark contrast led to vastly different perspectives on the war between the inhabitants of the two regions. In other words, every aspect of this plan was designed to drive the division within the kingdom even deeper. To further this goal, Demiurge, by the end of Volume 13, also mentioned that the double caste bond, because the real caste bond had been long eliminated, should make poor governing decisions to ultimately escalate the tensions even further. And all of this served to prepare Nea as a new figure of light and salvation for the people of the Holy Kingdom, and set the stage for a civil war, or overtaking of the government by the newly formed Order of Nea. And this conflict would ensure the Holy Kingdom's complete subjugation and loyalty to Nazarick. And Nazarick, to grain shipments, was already assisting the kingdom and securing its dependence. And ultimately, in a final act, the Holy Kingdom would formally join an alliance or pact under Ain's leadership and sign various treaties of friendship or even vassalization, similar to what already happened to the Barut Empire in the future. And again, this time it won't take a misunderstanding of Emperor Jerknif of Ain's appearance in the imperial capital of Aventar for this to happen. All it would take was time and Nea's efforts. And with that said, we reached the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And now it's your turn. What's your opinion on Demiurge's plan, the video, and the conflict in general? Let me know it down in the comment section. And with that said, please check out my German channel, my fantasy channel, and if you don't want to listen to my voice or accent, but are still interested in the things I have to say, I have made an AI channel, narrated by almost a woman, where I use AI voiceovers for my videos. And the channels are all linked down in the video description. Also, please check out my Patreon if you want to support me beyond just leaving a like or sub. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, thanks to my Patreons for supporting this channel, and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dan Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch V. Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Zinukai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.